Yeah. Hello guys, my name is Lars Stender. I'm a writer from Denmark who specializes in science fiction and fantasy books. I'm here tonight to read from my fantasy book, Mandigo and the Hellhounds. And if you want to know more about the things I'm writing and need more information about my books, just check the link at the bottom of my Twitch. Okay, and here's chapter 19 from Mandigo and the Hellhounds. To conjure up a demon of the 9th level is normally not associated with any particular danger, as long as you remember to take certain precautions. Growled Brumbo as if huffing and puffing with slow movements. He drew a pentagram on the stone floor of the classroom with a piece of chalk. Mandigo and the rest of the class stood in a circle around him as they watched. It was Mandigo's first lesson at Bloodstone, and the thought of conjuring up a demon, no matter the level it had, made him somewhat nervous. Greta had warned him against that sort of thing. Demons are the worst of the evil spirits, she had told him. The ones on the lowest levels may be stupid, but they are all unpredictable, and the ones on the higher levels are downright nasty. Never believe what they say, no matter what kind of promises they may try to tempt you with. They are traitorous by nature, and there's always a price to pay for their services. There was also another reason why Mandigo was worried. Demonology was considered black magic, and Greta had taught him white magic. Mandigo felt impure just having to witness the conjuring of a demon. In general, Bloodstone seemed to be permeated with an indefinable evil that made his small hairs on Mandigo's neck rise. He was certain that Mortero had not told him the whole story regarding the fate of his parents. He was also certain that the woman on the tapestry in Mortero's library played a much more significant role than Mortero had told him. Brumbo was in the course of completing his pentagram. He finished off by drawing a rune at each point of the pentagram. They were from the elves' alphabet, Avo. The language of the elves, Ferul, was characterized by the way in which every single rune, aside from being able to form words if put together with other runes, could also stand alone, representing powerful symbols of concepts, moods, or ideas. The 5 runes which Brumbo had chosen, Devo, Inmar, Sachum, Makar, and Ungmar, represented control, strength, concealed knowledge, portal or path, and darkness, respectively. Mandigo wasn't so sure whether Brumbo had chosen the 5 runes with proper care. He felt that an extremely significant rune was missing, and that was the one known as Gorindar, which stood for obedience. But he was new in the class, and he did not want to risk being pointed out as a know-it-all if it turned out that there was something he had overlooked. Brumbo straightened up and looked around at the circles of students. "Who would like to have the honor of conjuring up a demon?" he asked. Almost all the students raised their hands. The only exceptions were Mandigo, Casper, and Jasper, and the small red-haired girl whose name Mandigo couldn't remember. Naturally, Brumbo's gaze fell upon Mandigo. "Perhaps we should let our new student show us what he's capable of," he growled. "Yes, let's see what the new candidates actually can do," Grimwald said, pronouncing the word candidate in a condescending tone. His 2 followers, Tego and the dark-complexioned Alamut, started to snicker. Grimwald's mocking remark brought forth a burning sensation in Mandigo's cheeks. He took a deep breath and tried to ignore Grimwald. "I don't know how to do it, Master Brumbo," he said. "Well, then there's all the more reason for you to try. Come up here and I'll assist you." Mandigo hesitated, but felt he could not decline. He slowly walked up to where Brumbo stood and turned towards the pentagram on the floor. "Very good. We will try to conjure up the demon Hasrasal. He is fairly inarticulate and a stupid animal from the Pandemonium's lower planes, but makes a perfect object of study. Hold your hands above the pentagram and concentrate while saying the following. Brombuo instructed and chanted a few words in a guttural language Mandigo had never heard before. The words were like hard glottal stops that came from the lag of his throat, and both having to hear and say them made Mandigo feel physically ill. Nothing happened. Haswasal can sometimes be contrary. Often he's looking for a blood sacrifice. Brombuo went to a corner of his classroom where there was a row of small cages. There were small animals in the cages, and Brombuo selected a chicken from one of them. Who will do the honors? Grimwald stepped forward immediately. I will, Master Brombuo, he said, and took the chicken from the wizard. Then he went over and stood next to Mandigo, where he held the chicken above the pentagram. Recite the words again, novice. Mandigo closed his eyes and concentrated as he once again began reciting the incantation that would conjure up the demon Haswasal. Meanwhile, Grimwald took out a knife from one of the folds in his cloak and with a swift incision cut off the chicken's head, making blood spatter all over. Most of the blood landed on the pentagram, but some of the warm drops hit Mandigo's extended hands. It stung like acid. In his shock, he pulled back his hands. He also stopped short in the middle of the incantation. Brombuo cursed and stepped forward next to Mandigo. You must never stop in the middle of an incantation, boy! But then Brombuo took over from there and continued the incantation. His voice transformed into a roaring thunder that filled the entire room and cast a shadow over the group of wizard apprentices. Mandigo fell back, uncertain and uneasy about what was going on. The air in the room burned his lungs, and his whole body broke into a sweat. He glanced down at his hand. The blood from the chicken still stung. His skin, and he desperately tried to dry it off on his frock. Suddenly, the air above the pentagram started flickering as on a warm summer's day. A nauseating stench of sulfur and excrements permeated the room. Mandigo automatically held up his arm in front of his mouth and nose, and he took a couple more steps back until he bumped into one of the other novices. In the next moment, a flaring, whirling flood of light blazed up above the pentagram. Ah, he's coming! Shouted Brombuo enthusiastically. He and Grimwald had been standing closer to the pentagram compared to the others in the room, but now they too took a few steps back when the demon Haswasal announced his arrival. The blazing world seemed to turn itself inside out, and soon after the head of the demon emerged. The sight made Mandigo nauseous. The creature before him was more horrendous than he had ever could imagined. Its head was a bloated, gnarled, blue-green, quivering mass with about a dozen black, evil eyes without eyelids. Instead of a nose, the demon had 4 slimy slits in the middle of its head, and its huge mouth was encircled by a wavy, twisting forest of reddish-purple tentacles. The rest of the demon's body began to materialize. 4 long, jointed limbs, with claws swept through the air, like a pair of tongues on a hunt for something, anything, that could grab hold on and rip to pieces. The body was pear-shaped and looked like an overgrown toad. The legs were short and fat, like an elephant's, and practically olive green in color. Hail, great Haswasal, you great warrior from the lower depths! Hail! Chanted Brombuo. Mandigo stared terror-stricken up at the huge demon that was double the size of a full-grown man. He mostly just wanted to run out of the classroom and never turn back, but something prevented him from doing that, holding him firmly to the ground as though he was nailed to it. And then the creature instantly lowered its abominable head and stared directly at him with his 12 evil eyes. Before Mandigo could do anything, it stuck out its tongue towards him. Even though Mandigo was standing a few meters away, the creature had no problem reaching him. Its tongue was greyish-purple and flicked back and forth like a whiplash that swiftly twisted around the Mandigo from his knees and on up. It twisted around his waist, below his right arm, across his chest, and around his throat and neck before the tip of the tongue took hold of his face and forehead. Wherever the slimy tongue managed to touch Mandigo, it burned like fire, and small clouds of smoke rose from his skin and frock. He screamed loudly, pain, shock. The other novices around him started to shriek at the top of their voices. There was total chaos. Haswasal started pulling his tongue back, and Mandigo was knocked over. Unable to resist, he was, at great speed, pulled across the floor, straight towards the demon's mouth. Mandigo's left eye was covered by the demon's tongue, But with his right eye he saw Hasrasel's tentacles and mouth parts vibrating with hunger, ready to rip him to pieces and devour him alive. In wild panic he lashed out at the demon with his gift. Hasrasel roared in pain, and the roar made the mortar between the stones in the wall give way. A hurricane-like gust of wind knocked everyone and everything down, and then everything went black. End of chapter.
So, don't touch. That was some kind of interesting, and he should probably have said that there was missing one room. That would probably have been a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who is the good-looking guy besides me? Wardogs ask. Because we are always fucking evil to each other, so I think he means you.
Me?
Yeah, I'm not sure what is wrong with him, but he seems to like older guys.
Oh, that was the... I think it's what I had from the New Year's. I haven't put two in.
So, hey Creep, one more guy that is now in the Discord with us.
Okay.
I hope you will enjoy what we're doing here, and if you want to know all the chapters before this,
yes,
you can find it in YouTube. And I love Older Man. He is so fucking funny. But yeah. So
yeah, I was born old. That's my excuse.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. And sadly, Wardogs, you came too late, because when he took his glasses off, he got a shock by looking at me, so you would have been having so much fun. He is reading up on one of his books called Mandigo and the Hellhounds, and we are now at chapter 18,
yep,
which we're going to 19, and yep, if you are lucky and sweet enough, we could probably maybe get
squeeze and maybe chapter 20.
So I can only tell you guys that I've been unfortunate to actually meet you. First time to try and make
likewise
a game. Thanks. Yeah. And ended up he kicked me out of the whole group of making this game.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't work with his friend that I thought could have done better.
The unanimous team decision
later.
By me.
Yeah.
By me.
Later we find out that I was right.
Yeah.
And sadly, you were wrong, which have taken 5 years.
Took 5 years of hard work out of my life. So yeah,
that was really really sad.
Yes, that
so
was.
We ended up in a situation where I finally got some courage and talked to you again.
Yeah.
And this ended up in his normal job, which he's working in a
supermarket.
In the town we're living in.
Yes.
Yeah. What I need. Boost now. New chair. Yeah, of course you do, Creep. I will do that when I get into the game. We had a really funny thing here the other day. We had a day where people, for some reason, wanted to prove to me who could give me the most money.
Okay.
So right now we have a seating here that Wardogs, you see, the guy that loves older man, he has donated $6.
Right.
Then we have Creep here that really want to win, but he only donated $7.
Yeah.
So we have a guy here called Danes, and he just wanted to show Creep that, fuck you, I'm donating $10. So now he's at 15.
Okay.
So Creep here is only on second place, and Wardogs keep a low place on the bottom.
Yeah.
But still, they are the only 3 on the contest for this season.
So it means there's a medal for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gold, silver, bronze.
Not lucky, says. So we will see. But the season is not over.
No.
So that is some of the fun we have in here.
Yeah.
And also one of the few people that you actually have. I have to be. So as we are here, we are really enjoying the whole new season.
Yeah.
We have been playing together, and also why they're now here. I shall win. So Wardogs is my personal slave.
Okay.
How funny it sounds, it's actually not a total lie.
Okay.
Because I have a clan
where
if I need some help, I'm just gonna say it and they come.
Okay.
And that's the whole point of it. If they're in that clan, I just need to say it. Yeah. And they will leave whatever and join me. Because then I can do whatever I need to help others. Lead a command
and we follow.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they know that for this clan. And there's another clan where people can just be and have fun.
Okay.
But He's actually one of the one that has, you can see here, I've been following you since 2021, so he's been there for quite some time. And yes, we have the Slave Clan, and we have the true ZL, which is the true Zulus Raiders.
Yeah.
So we do have these kind of options for people, and I have been very lucky that I have a few slaves.
Yeah.
They make it so much easier for me to get some done. So other than I got fired from you and we become friends again, we start doing this. We have been learning a lot about how to make these interviews. Maybe we should stop the recording.